And that means, brother, let me tell you something, dude. We're going to take this from the top and we're going to go all the way to the bottom, dude.
Let's discuss something here, Dan. Go ahead.
Well, dude, I've got an issue. And
really?
I just want to stop lying about it. The Cokester, has been a big part of me for a long time. And yes, that's right, guys. I'm the Cokester. And the sad part is, I'm starting to lose my identity, man. The only time I'm not dressed like the Cokester is when I'm doing the show with you guys. Other than that, I wake up in the morning, man. I put on the wig, dude.
Save that. Because we have a rock star calling.
Okay.
Hello, you got it on the South of the Straight Show with Sideshow Nate and Dan Straight. Who am I speaking with?
This is Derek St Holmes. Somebody
Yeah, brother! What's going on, Derek? How you doing?
I'm rocking and rolling, fella. What's shaking?
No, dude, we've been sitting here hoping and waiting, and we're like, we this is the funny thing, Derek. I got to tell you this really quickly. When we were doing a little backstory search, a little Google search on you. Did you know that there's a wrestler named Derek St Holmes?
There is.
Yeah.
and why not? Why not?
Yeah, dude. Derek St. Holmes. Yes, Esquire. Derek St. Holmes, Esquire. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, dude. Derek St. Holmes, man. How are you doing, dude? Where are you at right now? What's going on?
Right now, I'm at my house in Nashville, Tennessee, out in the country. And it is close to 100 degrees. Well, it's for sure 90 degrees.
Really?
The sun is shining, and it is a beautiful day. So.
Oh man, man. You know what? We're up here in Michigan, up in Traverse City here. We're patiently waiting too. We cannot wait to see you June 6th at the.
I can't wait to get there,
dude.
soon,
Up
right?
North Live or Up North Grill. Excuse me. You're going to be at the Up North Grill, dude. That is just so cool.
Yep, 64 degrees.
64 degrees here. Yeah, and we've been.
It's raining too, right? Is it
no,
raining?
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful right now. Yeah, it's nice out.
I just talked to my buddy in Detroit. He said, I'm driving home. It's raining. And I went, well,
yeah, Detroit.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Detroit.
Sorry.
So now we've been just sitting here getting like a I don't know, I guess a Derek St. Holmes overload, behind the scenes. Learning so much about your past, your days with Vanilla Fudge, your days with Blood.
Michael Schenker.
Man,
Blood of the Sun, another one, dude. I mean, that was some killer stuff, dude. I love that.
Yeah, thanks, man. I've been around a long time.
That was one of the questions I wanted to ask you too. Is like, I mean, all these years that you have been in the music industry, tell me if you could, what is the one wildest thing that you have seen so far
that you remember?
Let's see, the one wildest thing I've seen. Oh my gosh, I guess the most wild thing I've ever seen is doing that show that was back in 1978. I know it sounds archaic. We did the California Jam 2, and it was 350,000 people. At that point, that was the largest rock and roll crowd assembled outdoors anywhere.
Really? Wow, dude, that's a chance in a lifetime. Holy shit.
Wow.
I mean,
and then you know what other question I get a lot? Derek, what is the favorite gig you've ever played? And for me, I have two of them, but the first one, of course, is Madison Square Gardens. Who hasn't heard of Madison Square Gardens? Who didn't grow up with looking at it?
Right.
Oh my God. And then Cobo.
Cobo Hall. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so.
Dan, I got Dan Straight here. He's got a question for you, if you don't mind.
Man, I just wanted to say, dude, what an honor it is to be able to have you on the show, dude. I've heard your voice ever since I was born in '79. So coming up, I mean, I heard your voice. I'm sitting over here with him. I'm like, I'm about to do some Wayne's World. Like, we're not worthy. It's an honor. It's an honor to be able to have you, man.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it.
Oh, dude, totally, man. You're a legend, dude. And
man.
There's some. And speaking of legends, like to me, like I said, when I was born in '79. So me growing up, like what was the coolest thing in the world to me was like Guns N' Roses, man, Slash, dude. And if I had Slash here right now, you know what? When we're talking about legends here, if I had Slash here right now, I'd be asking him, dude, what was it like jamming with Derek St. Holmes, dude, right?
Well, I'll tell you, I was at a NAMM show, which is a musical instruments show, huge. and he's up there and he's signing autographs. This is the first time I ever met him. And his guitar tech used to be my guitar tech. So he said, hey, you got to come over here, and Slash wants to meet you. And I went, what? Slash said, I don't think Slash knows who I am. And so he's got like 50 people in front of him packed, you know, in this little lane of hallway in this convention center. And he's signing all these autographs as fast as he can. Yeah. My tech goes up and he goes, hey, it's Derek. He stopped everything, turned around, Derek. Dude. He said, you're the man. And I'm just sitting there going, are you kidding me? I didn't even know he knew who I was. It was funny.
Well, I mean, I don't think, dude, you're amazing. So I know why he would said it, man. So
who knows? You know, I think you're better off if you don't think you're anybody.
Yeah, it kind of works out for it because the surprise is so much sweeter, you know, in the end.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And, you know, I come from a very working class, humble kind of family, and you know, we just weren't taught that. You know, we're just normal dudes, you know. And I think people appreciate it. You know, they always say to me, man, you just seem like just the nicest normal dude. And I go, well, I hope I am. You know, I put the pants on the same way you do. I mean, I just have a different job. You know, you're humble, you're modest, and that's something that's unique in the music industry. And I know you're very well known in the music industry, you know, I think for more than anything, you know, and that's another thing that I kind of wanted to ask you, and I don't want to put you in like the Ted Nugent box or anything like that, you know, but I mean, obviously it was a big part of your career. So, you know, and just like, you know, I was wondering, you know, how did that whole thing get started with you guys? I mean, if you had a quick little breakdown that you could tell, you know. Well, the quick little story is that, you know, I come from downriver. So that means like Wyandotte and Allen Park and Lincoln Park down there close to Detroit. Yeah. And I had a little band that was starting to become really big around the area, just a local band. We only did our own material. And it was a band called Scott. Mm-hmm. So Ted's ex-tour manager saw us and went, wow, you guys do have the makings to do something. And I didn't even know what he was talking about. He said, man, you got to get together. You got to start opening up for Ted. I said, what? Okay. He goes, yeah, you ought to be playing with Ted, but you ought to open up for Ted. So we opened up for Ted a couple of times, and Ted came out and watched, and I think he dug it. I think, you know, it didn't happen immediately. That was probably 73. Mm-hmm. Wow. But then, you know, one thing led to another, and I said, hey, Ted, you know, we're getting ready to play this place downriver here, and it's usually packed. If you're out, please come down. And so that ex-tour manager got Ted to come in. The place had like 600 kids in it, and it was an roller skate rink. Oh, wow, and, you know, the floor bounced. That place was frickin' rocking. And Ted walked out and got on stage. We did a song called Going Down, and we just tore it up. And I think it wasn't too long after that Ted kind of went, wow, you know, if I need somebody that plays guitar and sings, we got to call that guy. Yeah, so truly, the quick little story. So he calls me up and he goes, hey, want to come up and check it out? And I went, yeah. So I was getting ready to move to California. And I mean, I had a 24-foot U-Haul, and I had a car on a dolly on the back of it, and I was leaving that next morning. They called me at 3 p.m. the day before and said, hey, will you come up here and jam? And I went, come up and jam? I'm getting ready to drive tomorrow, fellas. He said, no, man, come on, you got to come up. So I come up. I go down in this basement on a 100-acre farm, and it was a bass first place, but they had it all set up, you know, cool Oriental rugs, and you know, it was a friggin' hippie jam pad. Right. So we go down there, and I jam with Ted and the bass player and the drummer for 20 minutes, and he stops. He looks at me and he goes, "How many Marshall amps do you want?"
Oh my gosh! Man. And that's when you were just like, "I'm in." This is, you know,
I guess so. I thought he might say, "Hey, you want to join the band?" It was, "How many Marshalls do you want?" I said, "I'll take two stacks." Oh my God, dude! And then it was game on.
That is so cool.
That's an amazing story, man.
And then, I mean, back then, too, it was probably like, you know, like, I mean, you had the option to go to California or stay right there. And, I mean, it was one of those, like, which one do I do? This guy's giving me freaking Marshall amps, you know? I guess I'm going to stick with that.
So it was the next day we drove up. The bass player goes, "Man, I got this big place. Why don't you just share it with me?" And I said, "Okay." So all of a sudden I move in. We go out on the road that, like, in 2 days. He goes, "Hey, man, we're leaving for a week. You want to go?" And I go, "Yeah, I just emptied all my stuff into the house." I mean, this is the freaky stuff that happens to all of us when we're starting this kind of stuff. So we go out, and 1 week turns into 2. and we don't come home for a while. And the first band that we go out and play with, that I have to go up against a lead singer, is Glenn Hughes.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah, from what was that band? They had a band called. Oh gosh, I'm gonna let you guys go through the archives and find it.
Yeah.
I think what were they called? It was a 3-piece band, and I'm watching this bass player sing like crazy, and I'm just going, oh damn, I really got okay.
Deep Purple, was that Deep Purple?
No, it was before that.
Before
it was
Deep Purple.
Before, you got to dig deeper, man.
If you Google,
dig really deep.
Well, you Google Glenn Hughes early days, it'll pop up.
Yeah.
You gotta go back to the early
So yeah, and then after that, we're playing with Kansas, and we're playing with all these people, and especially Geddy Lee. Then I'm going up against Geddy Lee, and I'm going, wow, okay, I gotta Detroit bring it, gentlemen.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what we did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what? I just found the band, Finders Keepers. Is that who it was?
No.
Damn, even more.
Yeah, it was one word, I think. Trapeze.
Trapeze. That was the next one. Yep. I'm
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Trapeze.
Yeah. I'm sitting here searching Wikipedia while we're talking.
And to this day, Glenn is still a really great friend of mine. So it's awesome.
That is so cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the stories. We have one listener, one viewer right now on our YouTube actually, who just said that his mom threw her bra at you back in the '80s. So
tell her I still have it. What?
Oh, that's so funny.
That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, you said you brought Detroit, man, and you brought it to the core. And you know what? I watch your videos, man. You bring it every time. It's the same.
Every time.
It's the passion, dude.
Every time, bro.
Dude.
If you're from Detroit, you got to bring it. If you don't, then you probably live in Indianapolis.
It's like our our friend Big Mike. He's got a shirt that says Detroit versus everyone. You know what I'm saying?
I have the shirt.
And it's
believe
like,
it.
oh, absolutely, and that's what you do. You bring it every single time, and and I even said earlier, I was like, dude, when I'm that guy's age, that's who I want to be. Dude.
Right.
That's like, hey, 66 years old, and I'm still rocking this thing down.
Dude,
I've got all these country rocking. Well, all the country guitar players, they're all truly rock and roll guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
But all these cats that play with all these different bands here in Nashville, they all come see me at this club downtown.
Yeah.
And it's because they can't play rock in their band, so they love it. They come in, they see it, and I'm slamming it.
Oh,
and,
you kill it, dude.
I usually have there's a couple guys that always go, well, all you boys should have been here because he was schooling us.
Absolutely. I mean, you're out there, you're shining with Slash, dude. Outshining, and like dueling guitars, almost identical guitars. I'm going, I'm jealous. I'm, salivating at the mouth here. I'm chomping the bit. Very cool, man. It's
Well, we're getting ready to come up there, man, and we're bringing it.
The band June 6th.
I'm bringing up there. The bass player Dave Castwini used to play with Nugent for, almost 15, 20 years. And he's from, where's he from? He's from like St. Clair Shores or something like that. But he lives down here, Nice. But and the keyboard player's from Toledo. He's got the Midwest vibe. And the drummer is from Staten Island. He used to play with Pat Travers and Cyndi Lauper,
Nice.
Sandy Gennaro. But I mean, we're just gonna slam it, man.
Dude, that's awesome.
Hey, you know what? I gotta ask you really quickly. I had posted on our Facebook page. I had said, if any of our viewers would have a question for Derek St Holmes, if you don't mind answering really quickly.
Absolutely.
This one is coming from Bob Minter, and Bob Minter is actually a DJ on Code Zero Radio. So if you ever get a chance, check out Code Zero Radio. It's an online radio station.
I'll do it.
He was wondering, what is your take on the industry today?
My take on the industry today is, our industry has been just devastated, I think. Mm-hmm. The one thing that they can't take away from us is the fact that we can play live. And it's the only place that I can actually sell any of my wares. I mean, I always put it down to like Van Goghs and Rembrandts. I mean, they painted all these pictures, but now everybody's knocking off the picture and selling it for $10.
Yeah.
And it's a tough one, but the one thing you can do is you can play live, you can sell all your wares, and you know what? It has certainly affected the way I'm going to go in, the way I did the last two albums, and the way I'm going to do this next album. I'm doing a rock and blues album coming up soon, a little bit more like a Rick Derringer, Johnny Winter kind of blues.
Oh, dude, that
but
sounds amazing.
yeah, and let's also throw a little cactus in there. We're gonna lay it down. But you know, you have to make a record these days or an album that you like. Make it the way you like it.
Yeah.
Don't chase any industry because there isn't any.
Right.
That's some great advice for like any aspiring musician out there, you know. I mean, that was another thing I was going to ask, you know. I mean, being that 66 years old, how has your voice lasted through all the years? I mean, you're still hitting the notes.
Oh, you're hitting
I gotta
it.
tell you, I'm just blessed.
Yeah,
You know
dude,
what?
it's
66
incredible.
years old, you're a young man, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm serious. You're
I'm
66.
20 in my head. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
You're still a young man. You've got so much more to
20 in my
come,
head.
dude.
But I tell you what, you got to play what you feel, and as long as it makes you feel good, it's going to make somebody else feel good, and that's what we used to do in the early days.
Right.
Yeah, man.
And you know, there were, I'll be honest, there were times when I was trying to chase the business, and you know what's coming next, what's going to be, and I got caught. You know, I cut my first solo record the same time Prince cut his first solo record.
Oh, really?
But he had the advantage of not being in a huge rock and roll band.
Right.
And he sat in his basement and he played and wrote everything that he liked. So when it came out, it was new and everybody just started following it. And for me, I kept writing an album that I thought, well, this is what I think they're going to want to hear from me now that I've quit Ted.
Right.
And that was a kiss of death.
Yeah, man.
So you just
Yep.
have to go. You got to go with your feeling, man.
That was
Right?
the kiss
Play
of
the
death,
songs you
dude.
love.
Where do you get a lot of your inspiration for your songs too?
Well, for me, my I'm very rhythmical.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I do in the morning is if I go in, I play every day, but if I go into the music room and I pick up my guitar and I get my inspiration from a groove. And if the groove makes me move and it makes me dance, every once in a while I'll just keep doing it, and then maybe I'll open up the door and I'll watch everybody else in the house. And if anybody else starts to move, I'll go, yep, that's a good one.
Right on, dude. Yeah, no, that's. I mean, you let the guitar kind of speak for yourself almost.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you know what? I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I don't want to get off of the phone with you. But you know,
No,
this
it's all
is-
good.
this is
You got
like
any
a-
more? Anybody have any more questions?
Yes, we have. I mean, Bob actually he provided me with the most greatest questions. There's some of them that were like pertaining to like Ted Nugent, but I was like, you know, let's. I mean, do you want to talk about Ted or anything like that?
Absolutely. I love Ted. Are you kidding me? If it wasn't for Ted, I wouldn't be standing here.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And-
Awesome.
Yeah, and we let's face it, I am the super proud of the music that we put together and the time that we had. Are you kidding me? We
Right,
changed
Yeah, man.
we changed lives.
Yeah,
with
Oh,
that
dude,
stuff.
you guys are legends.
You guys,
dude.
yeah, you actually you paved the way for a lot of different bands. You know, I mean, even listen to like the Greta Van Fleet from Michigan here. I mean, they've got a little bit of your style in there. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
Greg Coffeeman wanted to know what was your favorite song that you sang on the Ted Nugent albums.
Well, I think that was probably just what the doctor ordered.
Oh, that's a great
That is
jam,
a great one,
dude.
man. That is an
And
awesome
you sing
jam.
it so good, man.
Yeah. Well, did any of you guys see? And you know, you can go to Netflix and see the Hired Guns documentary.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I was.
Yeah.
That was another
Yep.
thing I was going to ask you about the hired
Yeah.
guns, man.
So we're sitting there doing this Hired Guns thing, and somebody goes, "Well, what song do you want to do?" And I go, "Well, I like just what the doctor ordered." He goes, "All right." Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel, he wants to play drums on that. I said, "Okay, good." So before we started filming, everybody came into the studio and went, "Hey, wait, I want to play on it," and everybody played on it.
That's so cool, man. That is
Yeah.
that's some neat stuff.
Phil X came up to me. You guys know Phil X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Phil X, he comes in and he goes, "Derek, my dad's a drummer. He used to play all the Ted Nugent stuff for me when I was a kid, and I would jam on guitar with my dad to Ted Nugent songs."
Wow.
I just went, "Wow."
Yeah,
Really?
dude.
I mean, you just don't know. Even Slash told me. He said, "Man, Derek, I was listening to Double Live Gonzo and almost got kicked out of junior high."
no shit.
Yeah,
Oh my
because he was
gosh,
supposed to be
dude.
doing his work, but he's got the headphones on listening to Double Live Gonzo.
That is
That's
so amazing,
funny.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Who just walked in here too is Mr. Marcus. Mr. Marcus is he's the owner of the studio that we rent out here in
Awesome.
In Traverse City. He is
Right.
he's
New Leonard Media.
Yeah, New Leonard Media is the place that you want to go up here in Northern Michigan. Mark, do you have any questions for Derek yourself? This is Derek St. Holmes, lead singer
Mark.
for. Hey, Mark,
He
say hi.
just- we just dropped it on
Derek,
him.
nice.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah,
Hey, buddy.
just stepping in the studio to drop something off, and saw that they were in the middle of an interview. I thought I'd put some headphones on and
And check it out. Yeah.
We like to put them on the spot like that, you know.
Mark, you're a Michigan boy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got to come to the show because we're going to lay down some Detroit rock and roll, man.
Absolutely.
It's going to be high energy. Yeah.
Absolutely, I'll be there.
Yeah, June 6th. June 6th is when it's happening, everybody, at the Up North Grill in
Up North
Kalkaska.
Grill.
And you guys were just talking about hired guns.
Yes, hired guns.
Yeah.
We were just chatting about the documentary that's on Netflix.
The documentary. Yeah, I watched that when that came out. I was down in Nashville. Hanging out with a buddy, producer Trevor Kustiak, and he was telling me about it. We went. That was a phenomenal movie. Yeah, it was so
Wasn't that
well
cool?
done. It was.
Yeah. I was, still very proud of that. I mean, I had no idea that one of the coolest, and I'll say it, one of the coolest live things in it is me.
Yeah.
But you know what? What the coolest part about it is, it's one of our Detroit rock and roll Ted Nugent hits, as far as I'm concerned, and we laid it down.
Dude.
And I'm just very proud of all that stuff. Very proud of being from Detroit.
Oh.
Very, very proud of growing up there and learning everything that I know about it. I bring it to everything I do, and I think when I play with people, they just look over and they go, "Jesus, how did you bring all that?" I guess it's all the rhythm and all the parts, and I've always had to be like 5 people instead of just one.
Right.
So when I joined Ted kind of went, "Holy crap, Ole, you're just not a guitar player, are you?" And I go, "Oh, I'm not." But he wouldn't let me play much guitar. You can't blame him.
Right. Yeah. How are you going to compete with Ted? You know, like when
he wouldn't even let me sing sometimes. You can't blame him on that one either.
Right.
So, what can everybody expect when they come to the show on June 6th at the Up North Grill?
We are probably going to do a bunch of cuts off the first 3 or 4 albums. I'm going to do, a couple deep blues covers that always got me going. I might even do a couple soul tunes done rock and roll. I might do that. Dude. And I might do some off Whitford St. Holmes albums.
Cool.
But, it's just going to be a big mixture of all of it.
That's
and
great.
If there's any song that somebody's sitting out there going, "Damn, I wish he'd play this," or "I wish he'd play that," I'm always up for somebody screaming out the name. Nice. And we'll play it as long as we'll go as long as we know it.
That is so cool.
You hear that, guys?
Very humble, very cool. Derek St. Holmes right here.
Hey.
Oh, my gosh.
What an honor, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, Derek, I got to give you a round of applause here, man.
I appreciate it.
We love you here at the South of the Straits, man. So
I love you guys. I can't wait to see you.
Dude, listen, when your new album drops, hit us up, dude. Let us play some of that.
I will, absolutely. It's going to be rocking, man. I gotta pick it up where poor Johnny left off, and I was so inspired by Johnny Winter. I got to tell you, man, it's just he brought the fire, and I kind of embodied that and brought it to Nugent, and that's one of the reasons we were one of the biggest rock and roll bands in the 70s.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful,
yeah, man.
All right, well, Derek, you take care, and I hear the birds chirping over there. I hope we weren't too loud. We didn't scare any of them away,
No, it's an hour earlier here, so we're good.
Okay, gotcha.
Man. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Yep, have a good night, man. We'll see you.
Blessings, my friend. Yeah, brother.
Wow, Derek St. Holmes right there.
Great
dude.
interview.
Can you believe that?
Great interview.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
We got darkness all of a sudden.
And hired guns, man. That I can't
haven't
recommend
seen that
that documentary enough.
It's
yeah,
still on Netflix.
Blessed to have seen that in the theater. It was
see it.
Right
That's awesome.
Well, you know what? We are going to play a song from Derek St. Holmes. This is actually a live show, a live song that he played at the I think the Monkey Gas Monkey or something like that.
Yep. Played at Gas Monkey.
I like that brass monkey.
Yeah. No, check it out, dude. Dude said he's 66. Like he's jamming for 66. Like
right.
He's holding his own, dude.
Yeah,
he's good, bro.
He is he's incredible,
dude,
man.
Musicians don't age. You know that?
No, they don't.
66. He's in his prime.
We made the
He's a
wrong
young
decision,
man.
Dan, getting out of being musicians. We shouldn't have.
Yeah.
We
Shut
shouldn't have
up.
done that, dude. Look, I mean, shit. We couldn't even sit here and slap each other's hands long enough.
This is our
dude.
new instrument. It's called the podcast.
That's
And
true,
We're,
that's
we're
true.
gonna play it the best we can. Dude.
Okay, right now,
But
everybody.
I'm very talented at playing the female organ. I've said that
Shit.
before, and I'm gonna stick with that.
All right, here you
Nate's
go.
got
We're gonna-
that skin flute.
I do. I am the
Skin
master of the skin
flute.
flute, dude.
Play the
he-
flute real quick.
Here you go. Here's Hey Baby
damn.
by our buddy that we just got done talking to, Derek St Holmes. Make sure you check
Yeah.
him out June 6th at the Up
guys.
North Grill in Kalkieska.
Yeah, buddy.
It's Ray the Gourmet, and you're watching the South of the Straits podcast on YouTube. Yeah, brother.